So I just touched down in the red zone, where my British embassy advised against all travel.
This is Lalibela in the North Highlands of Ethiopia.
Looks okay to me.
Looks quite peaceful. So there's some conflicts between the government, military and some groups. So it's not supposed to be that safe here.
So you're probably wondering why on earth have I come here? Well, the answer lies in these mysterious churches that are considered some of the most
Mysterious and pretty amazing churches, not just in Africa, but on Earth. Kind of funny checking in because I was given my passport and name and everything, and they were looking at me funny. It's like they already knew who I was because they don't get many guests. I think I was the only one, or maybe one other person today, so that was quite funny.
So this is where I'm staying. I think it's around $42 per night. Look at this view, man. Wow, look at that. Wow. Oh, that must have been the road I came in this morning. Windy road. That's an amazing view. So for centuries, these churches have been a sacred pilgrimage for many Orthodox Christians, and they come from all over Ethiopia. And today I'm making my own pilgrimage to see them for myself. Let's go. So most of the hotels are in the town. They're not far from the church, they're roughly walking distance. But if it's like more than 10 minutes, you can get a tuk-tuk there. So it's easy enough to get to the churches, I think, once you're in Lalibela. Hello.
Okay, we are here.
Okay. So this is my local guide, D-Store, who will be showing me around Lalibela, mostly the churches, the next few days. And we became good friends. A guide cost around $40 per day, and including evenings as well. So there's 3 clusters of churches. The first one, this one, has 6 churches in the cluster, and then the second cluster has 4 churches, and then the third cluster has 1 church. So up here you can see all the clusters of churches. So you can see the first cluster of churches are here, second cluster is over there, then the third cluster, St. George, is down there, which will go at the end. This whole floor of rock, it's a drainage system, so each cluster has a drainage system. They all come together, then they drain into the valley. And like, I can't believe I'm walking on like solid rock which was carved out. It's pretty incredible, really. So starting with the first cluster, which is the largest and most interconnected group of churches in Lalibela. So there's the monolithic church, which are not connected to any of the rock, and there's semi-monolithic church, which are the ones connected to the rock. And then there's the caves as well, which are completely inside the rock. The first cluster includes the largest monolithic church in the world, a massive structure supported by intricately carved columns. So you can see these columns here, they've been added on because they've been made of brick. But these ones here, the original columns, they're made of the stone which are just carved out. You can see there. And also, it's more crumbly at the top, the rock, than it is at the bottom. They knew that because the foundations are much stronger there. You can ignore this because this was added on afterwards to protect the roof. But that's because it's so soft at the top, it's crumbling, and hard at the bottom. See here, the roof's the same height as the rock. So that's where it's carved out. You see the same level there. So you see the same level as the roof. It's crazy how this is all carved out. That's all carved out. No concrete, no mortar, no bricks, just pure sculptured rock architecture cut out of the landscape. It all happened 900 years ago when King Lalibela ordered to recreate
a new holy city for Ethiopia. So according to legend, he had a divine vision, instruction to build a new Jerusalem. This was after he went to Jerusalem on a pilgrimage, and he stayed there for something like 10 years, a long time. So he knew the place pretty well before he constructed this thing. I can't imagine how they'd do this. It's completely different to what? It defines conventional construction. Digging out the rock and creating a church instead of building the thing. Of course, even the rock I'm standing on is the rock that's actually carved out of the cliff. So each one of these symbols here, whether it's a window or detail, they all have a biblical meaning behind them.
All the windows from this facade have biblical meaning. The top three windows are symbol of Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Here we can see the swastika cross. The cross is found in India and it's symbol of peace. It's similar with the Nazi cross. This one is anti-clockwise, but the Nazi one is that's clockwise. All the 11 churches carved out from one single rock, but when you see the structure of the churches, one is different from the other.
See the detail on these windows even.
Holy, holy, and holy. But when you see here, as I told you, half part of the pillar, it has a dark color. It's not a color, it's because of touching. For the last 900 years, millions of people touched the pillar and killed the pillar's back.
Did they clean it ever?
No, this is because not only here, even the area of this place is a holy place.
Like all these vaults, columns, details, they're all carved out of the rock. It's crazy, really. There's vaults, there's columns, there's details on the columns, there's arches. 24 years to construct, was it? 24 years? 23 years.
Yeah.
So they must have constructed them all at the same time, is it? Like?
Yeah, all the churches carved out in the same period, and there is no gap.
The scale and craftsmanship of this first cluster are truly awe-inspiring, but the story doesn't end here. There's more to uncover on the next cluster.
Okay, so that was the entrance to the first cluster. Now go to the second cluster now. So this is a local village, and there's a priest here teaching the children, Orthodox Christian. What kind of stuff you're teaching?
Actually, it's like all the books written in Ge'ez, they're just memorizing and also serving a church.
So this is the village outside the church. Usually it's a museum, but around Christmas time, which is January the 7th in Ethiopia, they celebrate Christmas. They're allowed to stay here, the pilgrims. So thousands of pilgrims come to this village, and they're allowed to stay in this village. It's only at this time of year. The rest of the year, it's just a museum. And these are some of the houses here. There's a priest teaching the children here. It's interesting, actually, some of these houses are not just mud and cow dung and straw like in Tanzania. A lot of them are used the leftover rock from the churches. So all the rubble and stuff left over from the rock making the churches, they used here to build the houses in the village. I've always wondered how they make this second floor in these mud. What's the actual floor made of?
There is wooden bridge. They make a wooden.
Make it have wood. And is there any mud inside the floor? Is it just wood? Is it just
They put wood and also they add mud on top.
Oh, I always wondered that.
Hi.
Hello. How are you? I've always wondered this because a lot of the mud houses I see, there's only one floor, but this is quite interesting because there's another floor. They've used timber floor to construct the floor, and then they've added some mud on there. It's probably the first mud house I've seen with a second floor there. So these ones have 2 floors, and these ones have a single floor, which is most common. It also has a second entrance as well. There's a second entrance here to the floor above. It's like a masonette. Oh shit, yeah, there's the other floor.
And also they add more wood and then they just add a rock and mud.
Is there mud on that side
Yes,
as well?
yeah.
Just to make it smooth, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't realise there's second entrance as
Because
well.
it's the animal hole to hang the materials what they use.
It's constructed out of the timber. They just put some mud to smoothen it out. So that's the ground floor. Let's go and have a look at above that. That one up there. So this is the mud floor, level 1. Wow. First time I've been in a mud house where it's had another floor on it. It's constructed by the timber. That's the structure, and then just put some mud on top to smoothen it out. That's how you construct a second floor on a mud house. This is the monastery on the way to cluster 2. All carved out of the rock. Posted something on Instagram and lots of Indian people are commenting, oh, we have lots of these in India, lots of churches, but they're not Christian for starters, and this is considered more rare because it's actively in use, religiously actively in use. The ones in India are usually temples. I know they're older, but they're not religiously in use. The staircase has been broken here, so they're chopping up the rock, trying to fix it here. You can see.
The rock. They use the rock for many purposes, not only for jewelry, they also use for a veil. This type of rock, we call it like a granite.
So this is the only monolithic church in the second cluster. Apparently the interior is supposed to be something else, so let's go and have a look.
Carved entirely from stone, the House of Emmanuel is a stunning blend of Ethiopian culture and influences from South Arabia, Rome and Byzantium, brought together through the vast trade networks of the Aksumite Empire.
Oh, the horizontal elements.
Yeah, that is horizontal. You can touch it and then you can check that one.
Some of these arches are quite interesting. These ones are called keyhole arches on the top of these windows. Maybe I'll use for a future project.
I will show you when you go to the next church. We start walking through the tunnel and we go to the last church.
So now, still in the second cluster. That was the first church. We're going into another one now, but we have to go through this tunnel that was carved for around 150 meters, symbolizing hell. So let's go through hell right now. This is the tunnel right here.
Watch the steps carefully. Go to that side and come careful. Then to that side.
Oh God.
The last one is a bit difficult.
Okay. Oh my God.
Okay. Head down here.
God, this is like pitch black. That was. Can see anything at all. So this is only a few meters, but they've done 150 meters. My gosh, it's pitch black, completely pitch black. It's definitely hell for sure.
Walking through that dark, narrow tunnel feels like a spiritual journey from darkness to light. The Twin Archangels Church, unlike any other church in Lalibela, may have been a royal palace before becoming a church. Its strategic design with tunnels and high walls hints at a defensive purpose, earning it a nickname, the Hidden Fortress Church.
This is a cave church because it's attached to the rock. King Lalibela dedicated this one to his wife. Some of it was damaged. You see the bricks on the right hand side there. So that's not the rock, but this is like the natural part, so they had to fix it. It's a shame all these churches have these structures on to protect it. Just ruin it, I think.
We need to do something about these protection canopies. They're horrible. We need to design something more elegant than this. Tensile structure or something.
But I want to show you how the roof of the church is still attached between the bedrock. We on the other side of the church is alternatively priced because the day was up. So it's probably saying people carry these prayer sticks because they stand and pray for a long time. So it's like this, isn't it?
No, just put under and then you can lay down in there because the service is minimum 8 hours, especially the church fathers. They use that ones to lay down when they are tired. They use like this.
So before we go to the main cluster, the final cluster, which is the main church, or well, not the main one, but the most famous church, let's just get something to eat first.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the building is crazy.
So I just stopped off for something to eat at this crazy restaurant around the corner. It looks like it's inspired by these flowers here. There's like 5 or 6 of these stalks with tulip type shape at the top, and these act like viewing platforms where you can eat, and there's like a path that connects them all. So you can go to different heights and different views. There's views 360 degrees all the way around. Then there's different restaurants inside as well, eating points, and you can eat on top of these places. Very interesting.
And the best thing is that they have shepherd's pie. I think the owner is Scottish with his Ethiopian wife. Okay, just getting to the third last cluster now.
I think the famous church is over there.
So this church is his masterpiece, and the church is for highlight of Africa, not only for Ethiopia, it's also highlight of Africa.
It's equal cross, isn't it? Is that what you call the Greek cross? Is it?
Greek cross.
It's
yes.
equal.
It's
It's
equal,
equal
yeah.
every side.
The forearm is equal. That's why we call it Greek cross. Yeah.
Sorry, you call the ones that stand on their own. You call them
Monolithic.
monolithic.
Yeah.
It's
This
a
one we call
crucifix.
it true monolithic.
True
because
monolithic.
It's not supported by any gained pillars. That's why we call it true monolithic.
So St. George's Church, which is this one, which is the most famous of the church, the most beautiful one, you can really see how it's cut out of the rock there. And the leftover rock they used, the cut, they filled it here where I'm standing, so you can climb up, walk up, which I just did, and get a view of the nice church. So that's quite interesting. They still think of looking onto the architecture back then, as opposed to just looking around inside it, which is quite interesting. You got some details on top of the cross there, you can see. Have to be careful where I'm standing. God, it's sloping. They're good for drainage though.
Look, the church has 15 meter height, but this church has only one floor. But Lalibela makes 3 layers to show us the 3 floors of Noah's Ark.
So you can see how good they were at geometry, mathematics, proportions, everything's to proportion and symmetrical, and the shape. Even I can see it leans in slightly, and the detailing is kind of perfect proportions there. It's only one floor this, so the top windows are actually for ventilation there, and the bottom is all drained out. It's never flooded here, which is quite clever really, the drainage system. You can see all the details, how they carved the rock and made all those details. It's pretty incredible. You can see how soft it is on the roof. You can see the cliff is the same height of the roof. You can see the slope of the cliff here for drainage as well. That's where I just was up there. You can see where they put the rock, the leftover rock, some of it over there. It sits on a plinth as well, which is usually do that on buildings for keep out the water. Yeah, you can see the drainage system on the roof there. You see it where they drain the water off the roof. They even think about stuff like that. The church was constructed from top to bottom using nothing but chisels, hammers and blades.
So if you think about it, it's a bit like a sculpture really. Once they've cut the rock, then they're going to be sculpting the the church on the outside. Once they've done that, they'll start cutting inside it and sculpting inside it. Unlike a normal sculpture, you don't cut inside, but this has to be cut inside as well. Hell of a job. God knows how they did it. See at the top there, it's narrow, and it gets wider as it goes to the bottom. This is to do with proportions. The Greeks did this as well with columns and things like that, pillars and structures. Oh, these are kind of lintels at the top of these doors, windows here. See, that looks like a kind of a lintel that's holding it up. But it's all rock anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's go inside.
The interior is simple yet deeply spiritual, with the high ceilings to amplify the chants of prayers that echo within.
That's the ventilation.
Yeah, you can see only the 10-meter height from the inside.
Sacred crosses and religious motifs are etched into the stone, each telling the story of faith and devotion. It's a serene and humbling experience.
So the church is shaped like a Greek cross.
Yes.
But this is a Latin cross because it's not equal.
The columns are carved directly from the bedrock, seamlessly blending with the floor and ceiling, showcasing incredible engineering.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank
We have
you.
time here if you want to take more pictures.
You can see here there's no lintel on the door either, or even the windows for that matter. So it's just pure rock. These are definitely probably the most mysterious churches on planet Earth. The word Lalibela means the bees recognize sovereignty. So what happened was when the emperor was born, the mother was swarmed by bees all around, which was a sign that meant the child was bound to become emperor of Ethiopia. Thank you. So one thing I noticed, they have this cobbled paving road all over the town. The reason for this is because they said that if they used machines, the vibration could damage the church. So they put all these cobbled roads, man-made, manpower, so it wouldn't damage the church. And they only did this about 8 years ago. So that's the reason why they have this beautiful cobbled roads everywhere. But it's a bit rough when you're in the tuk-tuk though, that's the trouble. Okay, so I found some information about the conflicts. I don't want to get into politics, but this is what I heard. So he said the government have taken lots of resources of crops like rice, wheat and stuff, taken it from this area and then taken it down to the south area. Apparently that's where the government are from, so they're a bit biased. So people in this area don't agree with that. And there's some people that are kind of fighting against that, stealing stuff and everything. So that's why there's military around to prevent that. I saw it last night. We were walking back, not allowed to use any transportation. I think it's after 8 o'clock. We were walking back from this bar area, Tages, I think they call them, when you have coffee and stuff. And military were there walking. We walked past them and they said to the guy I was with, like, don't do this again. So basically a lot of people are not allowed to walk around really at night. So I think most people are afraid of them. Because I think most of the town here, Lalibela and the area, they're kind of against what's going on. But hey, I'm not going to get into that. But so that's the reason I think why there's like conflicts here. So there's some extreme people that are doing stealing stuff apparently. Anyway, that was a pretty memorable day for the church. If you ever come here, I recommend going. Check I had a local person that advised me that it's okay to get a plane. And I figured, like, if you can get a plane somewhere it must be pretty safe. They wouldn't allow planes if you can get here. But I heard if you go by road, it's pretty dangerous, so watch out about it. One thing that really stuck out about visiting these churches is the significance that the religion, Christian, Orthodox Christian religion, plays on this architecture, because everything was related to Christian Orthodox religion. Everything from the windows to carvings to the way everything's done at a certain angle. It's crazy how that... This is why people study religion so much. I'm not into religion that much, but that was crazy. It's like every single thing designed was related some way or another to this Orthodox Christianity belief. So that's a real big eye-opener there for me. And generally, it's a magical place. The people are really friendly. Food's pretty good, but pretty small portions. But hey, it's Ethiopia. They have lots of beer, different types of beer, more than Tanzania. It's a completely different country to Tanzania. The people are different. The place is different. Quite shocked how much Ethiopia is different compared to other African countries I've been to. And don't forget, this is one of the only countries in Africa that hasn't been colonized. There's only other one country, and that's Liberia, but that had help from the US and stuff, so maybe that doesn't count. So it's quite a rarity that it's an African country. It's never been colonized. It's pretty crazy. So it's quite rich in culture, tradition, and history, I found. And I like the culture of the coffee and things, which was quite interesting. So if you like this video, click this one here. You might like that one, and I'll see you over there.